Hey YouTube, this is Chris McKee with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. Today we are doing a kind of breakdown for you, a refresh of a video that we did a few years back that was really popular called What Makes a Guitar More Expensive? Now the idea behind this is to help you understand why there are various different price points for an acoustic guitar purchase. This holds true for the electric guitar world and any other musical instrument. Now, a lot of people focus simply on price, but the goal here is to help you to equate the price with the quality so that you understand the value of the acoustic guitar. Because while there might be a guitar that is, say, $300 or $600 or $800, there's a similar guitar that's $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. And the question for a lot of buyers is why? If I'm shopping for acoustic guitars and there are so many options, what makes a, say, $600 guitar different from a $1,200 guitar, from a $3,200 guitar, and so on? And so we hope to help you understand why there are different prices and what you are getting when you invest more money into an acoustic guitar. So to do that today, we're going to look specifically at a single brand of guitars because that way you can see the differences from a single builder. That way there's no variance in designs or anything like that. It is a single brand, and in this case it is probably one of the most classic guitar brands, and that is C.F. Martin and Company. Martin Guitars has been building guitars since the mid-1800s. They pretty much invented the steel string guitar as we know it today. 14-fret necks, steel guitar construction, X-brace designs. Those are all hallmarks that came from Martin Guitars. And over the years, they have developed more models to fit different budgets so that most anybody that wants to can play a Martin guitar. And with each of those price points comes different features, both pros and cons that you're going to find, and compromises that are sometimes necessary in order to get a guitar into a different price point. So, without any further ado, we're going to walk you through 3 models that step through some of the Martin line and help you understand what makes these guitars different from a price standpoint. Check it out. So for our demonstration and comparison, we're going to start with the entry into Martin's full-size guitar lineup, and that is with the X series. The guitar I have in my lap is a DCX1 AE, and this happens to be a Macassar Ebony version of this particular guitar. The guitar is a full-size dreadnought with a cutaway, 14-fret neck. It features a solid Sitka spruce top with a straight X bracing, non-scalloped. The back and sides are made of HPL, which is high-pressure laminate, and it has a pattern of Macassar Ebony on it. The neck is made of Stratobond, okay, and then the fingerboard and the bridge are both Richlite. So let's talk about some of those materials because those are a big reason why you could purchase this guitar right now for about $699 with no case. So solid wood construction for the top with a pickup system, that puts it basically in this price point regardless of builder, okay, for the most part. Particularly when you're dealing with an American builder that's building elsewhere, overseas or south of the border, in this case down in Mexico, where Martin's factory is located for these guitars. So with a solid top, the back and sides are not going to be solid typically in this price range. They're going to be some type of layered or laminate material. In this case, it's Martin's HPL material. Now HPL stands for high pressure laminate. The back and sides, like the fretboard and bridge, are a man-made material. Think of it as something that's similar to like a Formica, and they are able to silk screen a print of a grain on it. Now the benefits of this are that it's very strong, it's extremely resilient, you can't scratch this up, and it will handle a lot of bumps and bruises really, really well. So if you are touring with a guitar like this or using it on stage a lot, it really shines in that type of environment because of the strength of the wood or the high pressure material, the laminate material on the back and sides. The top, where most of the sound comes from, is still solid. So you still get the benefits of the resonance from a solid top. It is still X-braced with spruce bracing like Martin typically does. And so it has that inherent Martin tone. The designs are still there. The neck is made of Stratobond. It's basically a layered material of a lot of different layers of wood. It's got a very cool look to it that also makes it very stable, and it feels nice in the hand. And the materials for the bridge and the fingerboard that I mentioned are Richlite. They're also a man-made kind of resin. They look like ebony, and they have a nice feel to them, and they hold a fret very well. And so it's not going to warp on you or dry out on you like wood might. What are those are the pros. What are the cons to this kind of material? Well, with any type of laminate, whether it's high pressure laminate or layered wood, like you would typically see on a guitar in this price range, it's very stiff, it's very resilient, but because of that, it's not going to vibrate. You're not getting any tonality out of the wood. It's there for the structure of the guitar, but it's not getting in on the action as far as contributing to the tone. So that's something. The laminate neck is very comfortable. It is very sturdy. It is a little heavier than something that would just be a solid piece of, say, mahogany. And so it tends to have a bit more weight to it, which isn't really that big of a deal, but something to be aware of. And then on the materials, the only con is that it's not wood, and typically people would prefer to actually have ebony on there. But when you're looking at a guitar that's at this price point, there are some compromises that need to be made in order to have something from Martin with this build quality at this price. And again, it's a very good quality material that's been even used on very high-end custom shop Gibson Les Pauls before. A lot of people don't like that. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it. But if you are okay with it, well then there you go. It's a good material, and it makes for a very good guitar at this price. You also get a Fishman sonotone pickup with controls right here in the sound hole. And sealed die-cast tuners, a nice, good quality nut here. It's, I think, synthetic. It might be bone. It's hard to tell, to be honest with you. And the specs don't really specify on this guitar. And the top is really nice, and it's got a good sound to it. So we're going to do a playthrough demo where you can hear the tonal differences from these guitars. A guitar at this price point will not have the resonance of an all-solid wood instrument, the continuing value of an American-made all-solid wood Martin guitar, but it will allow you to own a Martin at a very good value, to be a good resilient playing instrument, great playing instrument that's going to give you good sound quality and playability. So there you go. Next. So the next guitar that I have, following along very similar lines, is the next step up in Martin's lineup of full-size guitars, and that is from the Rhodes series. Now the Rhodes series I'm a huge fan of because it is an incredible value. Built south of the border in their Mexico factory, this is the first entry to an all solid wood construction Martin. Now I should also say all of the guitars that we're featuring today, so that you can hear a very close comparison sound-wise, they're all dreadnought guitars, and they all have the same neck, which is the Performing Artist neck, 1 3/4 inch nut, same profile. This guitar is all solid wood. It's the DRSG, which is Dreadnought Rhodes series with cirrus back and sides. So the top is solid Sitka spruce. It is non-scalloped bracing. The back and sides are cirrus, which is an alternative tone wood, which is fantastic. It's got very similar tone qualities to rosewood. The neck is a hardwood neck. The fretboard and the bridge, like the guitar we saw a moment ago, are Richlite. So on this, you get a solid wood neck, but the materials for the fretboard and the bridge are still man-made Richlite, which again, is perfectly fine unless you've got an issue with it. If you don't have an issue with it, it's perfectly fine. So sealed die-cast tuners on this. Like I said, it's 1 3/4 inch nut. It has a pickup as well, the same Fishman sonotone pickup with sound hole control. So right in here, you have controls for volume and bass. So what do you get out of this? You get a solid wood built Martin guitar built in North America. Okay, it's not from overseas. It has all solid wood construction. It's got a glued and mortise tenon neck joint. It's got the Fishman pickup, and it comes with a hard shell case. The price for this is about $1,200. So we've gone from about $699 roughly, as far as today's standards go, on a Martin X series up to the Rhodes series. They have some Rhodes series that are less expensive than this, but this gets you into the all gloss wood with a solid top and binding and all of that stuff, okay? So we're starting to move up in features like the all solid construction, the finish, it moves from satin to all gloss, the addition of a case. All of these things begin to move us up in price and in feature. And like I said, I think they're a huge value. I think that because You get a really good quality guitar from a fantastic quality maker whose reputation speaks for itself at a good price point. At about $1,200, it's really hard to find a solid wood North American built guitar with a pickup, with a case, with a gloss finish, all of these things that add to the price. So definitely a guitar that if you're in the market, you should look at and look at very carefully. Anything in the Road Series lineup is going to get you all solid wood construction. So really a fantastic value. But where do we go from here? Check out the next one. Okay, so the last guitar that we're going to look at is really a guitar that needs very little introduction, and that is the Martin HD35. This is part of the Standard Series in Martin's American-built lineup, and it's been really a storied guitar that's been featured by a lot of artists on a lot of records for many, many years. It's a classic model. When we say that, what we mean is that's a model that people who aren't even really guitar players will often know and recognize. And when people are wanting to buy a Martin, they're usually thinking of something like a D28 or an HD35 or a D45 or something along those lines. Now this guitar is a full-size dreadnought guitar. It's completely solid. It features Sitka spruce top with East Indian rosewood back and sides. And this particular one is a new 2018 model that's been reimagined for this year. So it now features the same neck as the two guitars that we looked at previously, which is a 1 3/4 inch nut with a high performance taper and low oval profile. It's a very comfortable neck. Now when you move to the Standard Series lineup, you're getting a guitar that's built in the United States in their Nazareth, Pennsylvania factory. And I've been there, it's fantastic. If you're ever in the area, they have tours and you should check it out. Now, in addition to being built here in the United States, it's built of high quality, all solid materials, from the wood that's used in the body, the neck, the bracing, to the materials that are used for the binding and the inlay. Everything is of a higher quality, including the construction. The construction is of a higher quality. And I was impressed when I was at the factory to see how much attention went into every detail, regardless of the price point on the line that's built there in Nazareth. Even the 15 series, which is kind of the entry level into the American-built guitars, were having the bracing hand sanded right in front of me. And I remember asking, is that a custom model? No, that's a 15 series. I was kind of taken aback by that. So there's a lot of attention to detail here. There's also very unique aspects of the finish, the inlay, and the wood. Now, and I want to say something about the wood before we continue. When it comes to building an acoustic guitar, or any guitar for that matter, the grand scheme of things, the truth is that just building a guitar from one acoustic guitar to another, there's not a huge difference in the steps that are taken, whether you're in a factory in Asia or in in Mexico or in the United States, wherever. The steps that are being taken to build the guitar are roughly the same steps. We say roughly because the big difference takes place in the minuscule, in the attention to detail, and even in the raw materials. East Indian rosewood is East Indian rosewood, but they grade it differently. Higher quality sets end up on higher quality guitars. And it's not just the wood that you should concern yourself with, it's also the care of that wood. So if you've ever purchased a guitar that was built, say overseas, that played great, and then several months later had very sharp frets on the neck, that's because that wood was not seasoned correctly. It did not go through the steps of drying out before manufacturing. It was built quickly because it was built at a lower price point, and that's what has to be done to make a profit on a cheap guitar. It has to be built more quickly. So what you end up with as the buyer is a guitar that has a neck that may shrink. Now this isn't true of all import guitars, but it's true of certain builders that don't take their time doing it right. And so you end up with something that has sharp frets and needs more work later on, or just is uncomfortable to play, period. So all of these aspects, from the quality of the materials to the attention to detail to the focus on making sure that the materials are taken care of properly, go into building a high quality acoustic guitar. So on this guitar, we have a premium solid Sitka spruce top. It has scalloped bracing. The bracing is all hand sanded and put on by hand. A lot of handwork goes into every Martin guitar. The back and sides are high quality East Indian rosewood with a 3-piece back and beautiful inlaid marquetry. The top has inlaid herringbone that's purfling the top and hand inlaid. The finish is a nitrocellulose finish. It's a very thin finish compared to the polyester-based finish that was on the previous guitar made in Mexico. Why does that matter? Well, it matters because it's going to allow the guitar to be more resonant while still protecting the beauty and sheen of the wood over the years. The neck is solid wood. The fingerboard and the bridge are solid ebony. Okay, it's a bone nut, bone saddle. Beautiful fretwork on this. That's something we probably don't talk about enough, but this is where you interface with the instrument. And so if something doesn't have good quality fretwork, one, that's usually a sign of the builder's quality, and two, it's not going to make for a very good guitar. I don't care what price you paid for it. So the fretwork on this is fantastically done, and I can tell you that in the US factory, these guitars are now being set up on a CNC machine. And it's just fantastic. It simulates the tension of the strings and does a really good job. Grover tuners are on this, so you notice I didn't say die cast. They are brand name tuners on this. And it comes with a very nice hard shell Martin embossed case, and it's available with a pickup system. So those are the types of things that you get on a guitar of higher quality, and each one of those things costs money. If you want it built in the US and you want it built of quality materials and you want them to take the time to make sure that it is painstakingly built, then there you go. If you want good quality timbers, you're going to pay for them. And all of that, it's not a single thing, all of that adds up to meaning that this guitar costs what it should. Now, right now, these cost a little over $3,000, like $3,229, I think is what it is. Go to our website to double check. But we've effectively more than doubled the price of the previous instrument. So here's the question. Is this twice as good a guitar? And the answer is, in the right hands, yes, it is. It is twice as good a guitar. It is more resonant. It will hold its value, although I don't think you should buy guitars for that reason. And you will get more joy out of playing it. You will better as a musician. It is easier to play. It has more sound. I have to put less energy into it, on and on and on. It is a better instrument. And so it's worth the money. So that's what you're looking at when you go through this process of understanding what makes a guitar more expensive. Now, to prove it, we're going to let you hear for yourself. All recorded the exact same way. We're going to play each of these guitars with each of the same piece so that you can hear the differences. Check it out. So there is an idea of what happens as you move up in price, the differences in construction and the value that you're receiving on a guitar, specifically an acoustic guitar. Now, there's an elephant in the room. Is there a point of diminishing returns? Yes, there is, but it's well above even this price point before you start to see a guitar that really becomes more of a collector's item or piece of art. Those things do exist where it really is being more about ornate or unique with exotic woods or rarity that drives the price up. Today, we're just specifically looking at it as an instrument. As an instrument, does it improve with price? The answer is yes. Does it improve exponentially with price? A lot of times, that answer is yes. And so within a certain price range, you are going to find better and better and better guitars till you finally reach the point of where, well, yeah, it's a $7,000 guitar. Is it worth twice what this is worth? Maybe not as an instrument, but maybe as a collector's piece, and that's an entirely different discussion. If you have any questions about these though, go to our website. You can find all the details as well as buyer's guides and whatnot to help you out. Now check out this message first. Hey, thanks so much for watching the videos we put out on YouTube. We make these with the goal of helping you find the right instrument to suit your needs, to find the perfect fit so that you find the right guitar and bring many years of joy. We believe strongly that if you play a note, it can change your life. But if you're shopping for a guitar right now, you may be overwhelmed by the amount of choices that are available. Should you get an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar, a classical guitar? Which features matter? Price points, things like that. It can be overwhelming. And for that reason, I've written a guitar buyer's guide called Don't Get a Good Deal on the Wrong Guitar. Follow the link below to download this very comprehensive guide that will talk about every aspect that you should be paying attention to when it comes to purchasing a new guitar. If you ever have questions or need help, go to our website, alamomusic.com. We're here to help. Thanks.